news conference full of surprising moments. President Trump surprised a lot of people with what he said about the rollout of his travel ban. Charles Blow is back with this discussion, and also joining us, senior political commentator Kayleigh McEnany, Betsy McCaughey, the former Lieutenant Governor of New York, and senior political commentator Peter Beinart. Look at this group. I feel like it's September or October all over again, and we're talking about, welcome back. I was thinking about you the other day. I was like, I wonder where Betsy McCaughey is, and here you are. So let's talk about the ban. I want to start with the president's travel ban. Here's what he had to say about the rollout, and then we'll discuss it.
We had a very smooth rollout of the travel ban, but we had a bad court. We had a court that gave us what I consider to be, with great respect, a very bad decision. Very bad for the safety and security of our country. The rollout was perfect.
So he used the word perfect to describe the rollout. Do you agree with that?
Well, I agree that the law is perfectly on his side. Whatever bumps in the road there were about the implementation. The fact is, if you look at the Ninth Circuit, on average, it gets overturned by the Supreme Court 80% of the time.
But
in 2014,
it was overturned 91%. Hold on. I've been discussing this with so many people before, and that's if you look at the cases that are sent to them. Usually the cases that are sent to them are cases who have the high possibility of being overturned. That's why they send them to them, because they're problem cases. If it's not a problem case, it doesn't go to that court.
Well, anything goes to that court that's in their jurisdiction. Yeah. And the fact is, they have a very bad record. They are extremely left-wing.
It's not a bad record. It's not a bad record. It's part of the function of that court. Those are the kinds of cases. That's like if you're in a place, if you're in law enforcement and you get the bad eggs, the chances of recidivism are higher because you're getting the bad eggs. You know, they're getting the cases that are tough to decide. So
I'm part of your fan club.
True.
I'm probably president of your fan club. But the fact is, all the cases in that part of the country go to that court. Okay. It's geographical.
Okay, but anyway, that's not. But I asked about the rollout. My question was the rollout.
Even if you agreed with him on that, he said it was a perfect rollout when they themselves had to switch on green card holders, right? Because green card holders were initially prevented, and then they said we made a mistake.
True.
They had to switch on the fact that people who work for the U.S. military in Iraq were initially banned, and then they changed that too. So even on their own terms, I just don't see how you could possibly claim that.
No.
Right, those were some pretty big problems that were caused because of those two issues alone.
Okay, we got a lot to talk about, so let's move on. I want to talk about the president. He brought up his electoral victory today. Watch this.
Well, it's not true, right? So let's just, it's not, he stated it as fact. It's not a fact. Now, you know, the president should be in the business of telling the truth, right? But he is habitually not doing that. But, you know, we are in the business of telling the truth. We have to hold the line on things like this and say, no, and exactly what their reporter is saying. You are saying things to the American people that is patently, provably not true. And what we would do if I had said something in my column that was factually incorrect, as soon as it comes to my attention, a correction is printed because I generate. No, I'm sorry. Let me finish. Because I generated. Because I want people to trust me. This president, even when presented with the idea that it is false, well, somebody gave it to me. I don't know. You know, just say it's not correct.
Put the graph up, Kayleigh, before you respond, because again, if you look at those numbers, you can do a Google search. The information that he's given is wrong. It's incorrect information. Does that concern you at all?
Well, first, I want to disagree with Charles here. When he was confronted with the accurate numbers, he stopped that line of factual reasoning. He stopped it there. He did exactly what Charles would have done when he issued a retraction. Here, let's talk about some facts.
Absolutely not a retraction.
I let you finish. Let's talk about some facts. President Trump did have a historic victory. He was the first Republican president ever to win Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan since the 1980s. That is a fact.
I give you that, but that's not what he said.
Okay, but let's also look in his exchange with Jim Acosta. Jim Acosta said Hillary Clinton deleted 30,000 emails. President Trump corrected him. It was 33,000. We're not sitting here hounding reporters for that. People say things that are mistakes. They're not lies. They're mistakes.
He has been saying that over and over again.
That's not true. When Acosta said that, Acosta said, I may have it wrong. Like you said, let me finish. He said, I may have it wrong. And then President Trump said, you know, I had said 30 and it was 33. But when Trump was confronted with the exact same thing, instead of him saying, I may have it wrong, He said, no, deflect to somebody else. Oh, I was given to it, but somebody gave me this, and I don't know.
Said it was,
fess up.
Now we're playing semantics.
No, I'm not
that was
playing
given to me. I just asked that you apply the same standard.
How about the real-world machine? I'd like to talk about that.
Okay.
Jim McCosta is also not the president of the United States. The important thing is that Trump doesn't say this again. If we had a record of Trump being corrected, and he's been corrected innumerable times by fact checkers, and then not saying these things again, we would be making progress.
Okay, I gotta go. On the other side of the break, we'll be right back. The president railing against the media in today's news conference. Back with me now, Charles Blow, Kayleigh McEnany, Betsy McCoy, and Peter Byron. We're having a quiet conversation before the break. So President Trump had some comments about this show. Take a listen to what he said to CNN's Jim Acosta.
You look at your show that goes on at 10 o'clock in the evening. You just take a look at that show. That is a constant hit. The panel is almost always exclusive anti-Trump. The good news is he doesn't have good ratings, but the panel is almost exclusive anti-Trump. And the hatred and venom coming from his mouth, the hatred coming from other people on your network. Now, I will say this. I watch it. I see it. I'm amazed by it.
Well, at least he said I was a hit, so at least. Boom. Sorry. He said he doesn't watch CNN, but then he watches this show, so I'm glad he's watching.
How can he resist?
Exactly. You're a longtime Trump supporter. You're on my show all the time. What's your response?
Look, I mean, you're always very kind to me, and I'm on here a lot, and you give me a lot of time and are fair to me. I think some of my left-wing counterparts are very unfair to Trump. I think anytime there's any sort of vagueness or gaps in the facts, when there's leaks, for instance, they insert sinister suspicion where it does not belong. I don't think it's you, but I do think some of my left-wing commentators who I disagree with ideologically do that.
The fact that you touched me before you said that is wrong. Don't. Don't do that. Don't touch me and then say launch into your sinister motivations diatribe.
Okay.
That's not going to happen tonight, ma'am.
I didn't realize there's a 1-inch barrier where I'm not allowed to get close to you, Charles Blow. But now I know, so I'll scoot over this way a tad bit.
You can scoot until you fall off that ledge.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is don't touch me.
But Charles, this is the problem. This is the problem, and it was what you just said to me is a lot like what Maxine Waters said today when she said, "Look, don't ask to meet with me, President Trump. I don't even want to meet with you. We're all Americans. Maybe you don't feel that way. We have one president. We should all want him to succeed, and we should all be friends at the end of the day and hug it out. And if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that.
You're about to turn this from a civil conversation into me telling.
Because we're all Americans.
No, ma'am.
Because we're all Americans.
Because now that's a very personal attack to say that I don't believe that I'm an American. Maybe I don't believe that I'm an American. Don't do that.
You said I'm not even allowed to touch you. That is just like what Maxine Waters said.
No, you're not.
That's very sad, Charles.
All right, no, you're not.
Go ahead.
Sad is bad if you want it to be sad. Go ahead. I'm telling you, don't do that. Go ahead.
The president is taking a lot of guff for today for saying that his administration has been a well-oiled machine. And I'd just like to point out that over the last 3 weeks, he has put together a White House staff, nominated 12 cabinet members, all of whom so far are getting through except one, Andy Puster. That's a far better record than Obama had at this point. And he has met with 3 major heads of state, very successful meetings with Theresa May, with the head of Japan, with Benjamin Netanyahu. He has met with corporate executives and persuaded them to put more jobs in the U.S. instead of Mexico.
Betsy, I understand what you're saying. I know you're getting the president's agenda, which he did today in this press conference.
Amazing. I think it's an amazing record in 3 weeks.
But you cannot say it is a well-oiled machine when you look at the fallout from the travel ban, when you look at what's happening with Russia, when you're looking at what happened with
Those are all good points.
Okay, but that's not a well-oiled machine
let's compare
a fine-tuned
travel
machine,
ban
as he said.
kerfuffle with the rollout of Obamacare. 3 months of crashing websites, people very sick, losing their health.
How long did that happen into the...
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
First of all, he doesn't have a national security advisor. The national security, right? That wasn't the Senate's problem, right? He didn't have to get that confirmed. He doesn't have a national. We just learned today that the guy he wanted to replace the national security advisor won't take the job. Barack Obama, by this point, had already passed a stimulus bill, right? Actually, whether you like it or not, a massive piece of legislation, right? What has Donald Trump done that is equivalent to that? Many of his government meetings, right? The one with the leader from Australia, for instance, were international incidents because of the things that he reportedly said during those meetings. So I think it's hard to suggest. Today there was a report from someone on the National Security Council who told a reporter, I don't know what's going on. No one here knows what's going on. That is not a well-oiled machine.
That is the swamp trying to sink him. These are career diplomats, people who are holdovers from previous administrations.
We don't actually know that.
Trying to do damage to our country
I
in
do
order
hear
to
that. To
damage
this point,
Trump.
I hear that, but what do you mean they're holdovers? You don't think that those are career people who care
Some
about
of
their
them
country
are,
more
and
than...
some of them are people who probably will leave and be replaced.
Right, and
but
the
at the
10
moment, they're still
the
there,
10 people
and
leaking
they're
that
not
top secret
serving us,
information.
the public.
Yes, but some of the information that has been leaked has been things that you would probably only know if you were in his inner circle. So, now, some of it may be coming from other places. It could be congressmen. It could be people in the intel community. Some of that is coming from the White House, because some of the details that I have read, nobody else would even know them if you were not in the White House. So his extreme vetting is apparently not working, because he has
That's not
vetted
true.
somebody,
There's-
and somebody in the White House is also contributing.
I've got to go. We're like 2 minutes over, and I'm going to get in trouble. Coming up, thank you all. I appreciate it. We're all calm now. Coming up, if you miss the president's extraordinary news conference today, you can hear all the big moments for yourself, and that's next.